Today we're celebrating one of the most thrilling, mechanically fascinating, and historically rich complications in all of watchmaking, the chronograph. At its core, a chronograph is elegantly simple in concept. A stopwatch function integrated into a wristwatch, allowing elapsed time to be measured with the press of a push button and reset with another. But within that simplicity lies a world of extraordinary mechanical complexity, historical drama, and design achievement that has captivated collectors, racers, pilots, and watch enthusiasts for well over a century. From the starting grids of Formula One circuits to the cockpits of supersonic aircraft, from the wrists of NASA astronauts to the boardrooms of global industry, the chronograph has always been the watch of people for whom time is not merely tracked, but actively measured, managed, and competed against. Today, we count down 10 of the finest chronograph watches ever made. From accessible everyday performers to some of the most legendary and culturally significant timepieces in Swiss watchmaking history. Let's get into it. Number 10. Tissot PRS 516 Chronograph. The Tissot PRS 516 Chronograph, a Swiss-made sport chronograph that delivers genuine functionality, bold motorsport aesthetics, and reliable ETA-based movement quality at a price point that makes the chronograph complication accessible to virtually any enthusiast entering the category for the first time. The PRS 516's design draws explicit inspiration from the world of motorsport. The tachymeter scale on the bezel, the bold sub-dial layout, and the overall aggressive case architecture all communicate a connection to speed and precision timing that is entirely appropriate for a chronograph at any price tier. The push buttons engage with a mechanical confidence that immediately distinguishes this from fashion chronographs, and the overall dial legibility reflects genuine thought about how a chronograph is actually used in the field rather than merely displayed on a shelf. The stainless steel case with its distinctive cushion shape wears with a sporty presence that suits casual and semi-formal environments equally well, and the bracelet or rubber strap options provide genuine versatility for different wearing contexts. Tissot's institutional commitment to Swiss quality control ensures that even at this entry price point, the PRS 516 is built to last and performs with the reliability that the Tissot name has always represented. The Tissot PRS 516 chronograph retails for approximately $475 USD. Number 9. Seiko Prospex Solar Chronograph. The Seiko Prospex Solar Chronograph brings together two of Seiko's most compelling engineering traditions: the rugged, capable Prospex sportwatch platform and the brand's solar-powered movement technology, into a chronograph package of exceptional practical value and genuine outdoor capability. Solar charging eliminates battery replacement concerns entirely, ensuring the chronograph function is always ready for operation regardless of how long the watch has been stored or worn in low-light conditions, a practical advantage that becomes especially meaningful for a timing function that is often needed without advance notice. The Prospex DNA is strong throughout. Robust case construction, excellent water resistance well above sport watch requirements, and a high-contrast dial designed for immediate readability in challenging outdoor environments, including direct sunlight, low light, and the demanding visual conditions of competitive sport. The chronograph subdials are arranged with Seiko's characteristic functional clarity, each display sized and positioned for rapid, accurate reading during active use. Luminous hand and index treatment ensures the timing function remains usable after dark, extending the watch's operational utility across the full range of conditions its Prospex heritage suggests it should handle. For outdoor athletes, adventure travelers, and sports enthusiasts who want a solar chronograph built for genuine use rather than occasional display, the Prospex Solar delivers convincingly. The Seiko Prospex Solar Chronograph retails for approximately $550 USD. Number 8. Citizen Eco-Drive Chronograph. At the Citizen Eco-Drive Chronograph, AT occupies a compelling and practically unassailable position in the everyday chronograph market. A watch that combines solar-powered maintenance-free operation with atomic timekeeping precision and a fully functional chronograph in a package refined enough for professional environments and robust enough for active daily use. The AT designation, atomic timekeeping, refers to Citizen's radio-controlled synchronization system that regularly aligns the displayed time with atomic clock broadcasts, correcting any quartz drift to a standard of accuracy measured in fractions of a second per year. Paired with Eco-Drive's perpetual solar charging, the result is a chronograph that manages its own accuracy and power indefinitely, asking nothing of its owner beyond the simple act of wearing it in normal light. The chronograph execution is clean and purposeful. Subdials arranged for logical reading, push-button operation with satisfying mechanical response, and a tachymeter or elapsed timescale integrated into the bezel without visual clutter. The dial design balances sport chronograph energy with the restrained finishing quality that Citizen consistently applies across its premium range, and the stainless steel case construction ensures long-term durability that justifies the investment many times over. For the professional who needs precision, reliability, and timing functionality without maintenance complexity, the Chronograph AT is a genuinely complete answer. The Citizen Eco-Drive Chronograph AT retails for approximately $450 USD. Number 7. Hamilton Intra-Matic Auto Chrono. The Hamilton Intra-Matic Auto Chrono is a watch of such complete and period-authentic beauty that spending time with it inevitably raises the question of why vintage-inspired chronograph design was ever abandoned in the first place. Drawing deeply from Hamilton's rich archive of 1960s American Swiss sport and dress chronographs, the Intra-Matic presents a two-register layout of classical elegance, running seconds at 9 o'clock and elapsed minutes at 3, against a dial surface of exceptional quality that balances legibility with the warm, unhurried character of a watch designed in an era before digital distraction. The column wheel chronograph mechanism at the heart of the Caliber H31 automatic movement is a point of specific mechanical pride, a more sophisticated and tactilely satisfying engagement mechanism than the cam-operated alternatives found in many chronographs at comparable price points, producing a push-button action with a precision and feel that communicates genuine mechanical quality at every interaction. The pulsometer or tachymeter scale on the outer chapter ring adds historical instrument authenticity that deepens the vintage narrative without compromising the watch's contemporary wearability. Available in compelling dial colorways including classic pandas and reverse pandas, each variant is a collectible object of genuine design merit that consistently sells below what its quality and character honestly justify. The Hamilton Intra-Matic Auto Chrono retails for approximately $1,295 USD. Number 6. Oris Chronoris Date. The Oris Chronoris Date is one of the most characterful and historically resonant chronographs in the Swiss mid-range market. A watch that draws its identity from Oris's own vintage archive and delivers a 1970s motorsport chronograph aesthetic with such conviction and quality that it stands entirely apart from the broadly similar, vintage-inspired offerings of competing houses. The original Chronoris of 1970 was a racing chronograph designed to capture the spirit of Formula One's most glamorous era, and the modern reissue honors that heritage with a striking combination of bold dial design, contrasting subdial colors, and a deliberately compact case size that wears with the wrist-kissing intimacy of a proper vintage racing watch rather than the overbearing scale of modern sport chronographs. Oris's independence as a Swiss manufacturer gives the Chronoris a character that feels genuinely earned rather than market-researched. A watch that exists because Oris's designers love it, and that emotional authenticity communicates itself through every design decision and finishing detail. The automatic column wheel chronograph movement operates with smooth, precise reliability, and the date function is integrated with sufficient discretion to avoid disrupting the motorsport purity of the overall composition. On a leather rally-perforated strap, the Chronoris Date is one of the most genuinely desirable chronographs at its price point. The Oris Chronoris Date retails for approximately $2,400 USD. Number 5. TAG Heuer Carrera Chronograph. The TAG Heuer Carrera, named after the legendary Carrera Panamericana road race that tore through the mountains and deserts of Mexico in the early 1950s and demanded from its participants a combination of mechanical excellence and personal courage that Jack Heuer specifically sought to honor when he created the original Carrera in 1963. The Carrera was designed with a single, unwavering priority: maximum legibility for racing drivers who needed to read elapsed time at a glance while managing a car at speed. And that founding clarity of purpose has shaped every subsequent generation of the collection, including the current references that continue to present some of the cleanest and most immediately readable chronograph dials in the Swiss industry. Number 4. Omega Speedmaster Racing is a watch that occupies a fascinating and entirely distinct position within one of watchmaking's most celebrated and historically loaded families. The Omega Speedmaster Racing, a variant of the Moonwatch platform that redirects the Speedmaster's space exploration heritage toward the racing circuits where the chronograph complication was born, and where it has always found its most natural and visually compelling expression, the Speedmaster. Racing's defining characteristic is its coaxial dial design, a multi-layered tachymeter-scaled construction that creates visual depth and dynamic energy entirely unlike the clean, spare presentation of the classic Moonwatch, communicating motorsport urgency and mechanical complexity with a graphic boldness that suits the racing context completely. At its heart beats Omega's master chronometer, certified calibre 9900 or 3330, depending on the reference. Movements that meet the Swiss industry's most demanding standards for accuracy, anti-magnetic performance, and power reserve, bringing space-certified watchmaking technology to the racetrack with complete conviction. The coaxial escapement technology, developed by legendary watchmaker George Daniels and adopted by Omega as a house-wide commitment to improved long-term accuracy and reduced service intervals, gives the Speedmaster Racing a mechanical sophistication that operates entirely beneath the surface of its sporting appearance. Number 3. Rolex Daytona, and arguably the most coveted position of any watch on any list anywhere in the collecting world, is the Rolex Cosmograph Daytona, a chronograph so deeply embedded in popular culture, collector mythology, and the history of motor racing that its name alone carries the weight of an entire era of human ambition and style. Named after the Daytona International Speedway in Florida, the watch that would become one of the most recognizable luxury objects in human history was introduced in 1963 as a professional timing instrument for racing drivers, and its association with the speed, glamour, and danger of motorsport at its most exciting gave it a cultural resonance that no amount of deliberate brand building could have manufactured. The Daytona's chronograph architecture, 3 subdials at 12, 6, and 9 o'clock on the current references, a tachymeter scale on the ceramic bezel, and a dial composition of such resolved visual authority that it has become the universal reference point for chronograph design, is a study in the difference between a watch that looks right and a watch that is right. The in-house caliber 4131 automatic chronograph movement is a landmark of Rolex manufacture engineering. A column wheel, vertical clutch mechanism delivering 72 hours of power reserve with the robustness, accuracy, and resistance to positional variation that Rolex's obsessive quality standards demand. Number 2. Breitling Premier B01 Chronograph watch that represents Breitling at its most refined, most historically grounded, and most technically accomplished. The Premier B01 Chronograph, a timepiece that reaches back into the brand's own pre-aviation archive to resurrect a design language of elegant 1940s Swiss watchmaking and apply it to one of the finest in-house chronograph movements in the contemporary Swiss industry. The Premier collection draws from Breitling's elegant civilian watch heritage of the late 1930s and 1940s, a period before the brand's complete pivot to aviation instruments, when Swiss watchmakers were producing dress and sport watches of considerable sophistication and refined aesthetic sensibility. The Premier B01's case and dial architecture honors that heritage faithfully. A round, beautifully proportioned case with a slightly stepped bezel, a dial of exceptional compositional elegance featuring 3 contrasting subdials arranged at 3, 6, and 9 o'clock, and a tachymeter chapter ring that adds instrumental credibility without disrupting the overall sense of refinement. Number 1. TAG Heuer Monaco. The most culturally significant and visually revolutionary objects in the entire history of Swiss watchmaking. The TAG Heuer Monaco, the world's first automatic square-cased chronograph, introduced on March 3, 1969, and immediately immortalized when Steve McQueen wore it on his wrist during the filming of the 1971 racing film Le Mans, creating an association between a single watch and a single human being so powerful that it has never fully separated in the 50 years since. The Monaco arrived in 1969 as an act of almost reckless design confidence. A square stainless steel case at a time when every serious watchmaker agreed that watches were round. An automatic chronograph mechanism, when the industry consensus held that automatic chronographs were mechanically impossible, and a crown positioned on the left side of the case in direct defiance of a watchmaking convention established over centuries of unanimous practice. Every one of these decisions was correct. The square case proved not merely acceptable but iconic, a shape so strongly associated with the Monaco that it has defined the watch's identity for over half a century without generating a single serious proposal to change it. The automatic caliber 11 movement, developed by a consortium including Heuer, Breitling, Hamilton Buren, and movement manufacturer Dubois Desprez, was a genuine horological first. The world's first automatic winding chronograph movement, a technical breakthrough that changed the chronograph category permanently and irreversibly.